Then, so I'll declare a quorum and call the meeting to order so we can get started. We have a long agenda this morning. Number two on our agenda, of course, is our prayer, and we have one of our volunteer chaplains and our current newly appointed JP, Harold, is going to pray over us. We thank you more than we can express, Harold.
That's great justice.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this assembly today, Father. We ask that you just be in our midst and bless our leaders of this county. And Father, help us to be on one accord today. Father, we know that you said in your word that we've asked, we will receive. And we just ask you right now to continue to bless Brown County, Brown, Texas. Father, we also ask that you just continue to bless this nation, be with our world and all the trouble that's going on in Middle East. Father, we ask that you be with our military. Father, just bless this nation as a whole. We ask these blessings in Jesus' name, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it. Item number three is recognition of special guests. I see the Chief Deputy, the District Attorney, one of our constables, Troy. We got lots of guests. Welcome, and thank you for coming. Number four is citizens' comments. I don't have anyone signed up to speak. Stephanie, do you have anyone in the audience that hasn't had a chance to sign up who would like to speak to anything? It has to be something on the agenda. Okay. Item number five is consideration approval of agenda minutes and budget workshop minutes from September 7th, 2021. We got those by email.
I make a motion we accept both sets of minutes.
We have a motion. Do I have a second to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Shaw, any further discussion? All in favor? Wayne, you vote in favor?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. I just have to make sure. Okay, so that is unanimous. Item number six is consideration approval of any treasurer's or auditor's report separate from the budget that we're going to discuss here shortly. Anything?
We have a treasurer's and auditor's report for August 2021. And the affidavit that goes with it says the Commissioner's Court states that the requirements of subsection C of section 114.026 of the Texas Local Government Code have been met. The treasurer and auditor have submitted a report to the Commissioner's Court for dated August 31, 2021. The court has compared and examined the report and has approved it in the minutes. Attached to this affidavit is a true and correct copy of the report, including a report of the cash and other assets in the custody of the county treasurer at the time of our examination in the amount of $19,265,387.31. Approved this 13th day of September 2021. I move we approve this affidavit.
Second. Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second by Commissioner Shaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Sharon, do you need this copy?
I've got one of those, I just don't have it on.
Okay, the item number six is approved. Item number seven, we're going to skip and come back to, which is our bills. We'll do that last. Item number 8 is our consent agenda. We take each item one at a time, however. So I see that we have the district attorney waiting and Lisa, so I'm going to get to them first. So I'm going to skip to item number 8. C is in Charles, and that is the district attorney consideration and possible approval of action regarding employee changes.
Morning.
Michael, the floor is all yours.
All right. Just need to get approval on the position that you've approved for the assistant district attorney. We've hired a lady named Skylar Schofield, and she started at the beginning of this month at the rate that you'll approve.
That was for like a year and 4 months, was it not? Or a year and-
Yeah. The way that we did that, and then y'all reviewed that, and then all the way up to December 2024 is the maximum term.
So I'll make, everybody's busy. I'll make a motion we approve the district attorney's employees changes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The side of the form's coming around if you wait just a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? I think the form went that way.
I've got it in my hand.
Thank you.
And while we're doing that, next I'm gonna go to, item number, 8B is in boy, and that is, Lisa, come on up. Lisa Ditch, our, administrator in Brown County Health Department is going to give us a COVID update. We've got the numbers, at least Friday's numbers here on the screen in front of us, but for the audience and those on television, that you go over them for us.
So this has been a pretty busy last 3 weeks. This is the third week in a row that we've had record number of cases. And I reported that 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we had 344 new cases. This past week, we had 378 new cases. And then of those, the weeks also of death, 2 weeks ago, we had 4 deaths. We had a female in her 30s, a female in her 40s, a female in her 70s, and a male in his 80s. None of those were from nursing facilities. This past week, we had a death of 4 also. We had 3 males in their 50s and 1 male in his 70s. We have had breakthrough cases both of these weeks. 2 weeks ago, we had 18 breakthrough cases, and this past week, we had 40 breakthrough cases. So realizing as we have more cases and there's more exposure, even if you've been vaccinated, you become at greater risk of having it just because of the amount of exposure that you have. So we're still hoping that with vaccination, that your cases are much lighter and don't require hospitalization. So with all of this, we have still continued to work on vaccinations. So our newly vaccinated over the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, we had 329 newly vaccinated, that brought them to a total complete vaccination status. And then this past week, we had 361. First-time vaccinators, 2 weeks ago, we had 284, and this week we had 278. So that brings us to about 38% of our total eligible vaccination population is completely vaccinated, and that is 12,204. They're fully vaccinated. If you know, this is a lot of numbers. Right now, our hospitalizations are 21 people are currently hospitalized. I did want to share part of a personal story. I know that we all talk about the effect that it has on getting regular medical care. My mom has recently been ill, which is long-term side effects of COVID after she recovered. So when we recover someone, their journey with COVID doesn't end. And the second thing I wanted y'all to know is that going through the ER, wonderful, wonderful Hendrick staff, but there's just lots of hardships because of all of the additional people that are there because of COVID. So I guess the message that I want to leave, and I know I've talked with Hendrick about this, is that even if you don't have COVID, you need to have the realization that if you're seeking medical treatment, it doesn't look like what our historical medical care has in the past. So I would expect delays and maybe not having a place to transfer to if you needed to transfer to somewhere else. So, and I know if you talk to others that have had to seek medical care, they will tell you the same thing. So as our numbers continue to increase weekly, and we have additional deaths every week, then the Brown County Health Department will continue to work with our community partners to promote vaccines, and will continue to collaborate with those partners like Hendrick to help make the best possible care that we can. We are working with them on various ideas and different ways of doing things. But as we do that, then we will need financial support from y'all. And so I'm not asking for anything today, but we do have plans that are coming up. And I know that that is what some of the federal money that came down is meant to do. So just please be mindful of that whenever you prepare and plan for budgeting.
So what is our total number of active cases today?
I did not bring that
It
with me.
says
It's in the-
481, but
So,
that's
yeah.
as of Friday, so.
So that's for Friday, and so that number hasn't been updated yet. They just began this morning on recovering and adding in the new cases.
164 deaths, is that still where we're sitting at? Out of a county of 38,000.
Can you speak to the severity of the cases, of like the breakthrough cases compared to those that hadn't been vaccinated?
So generally speaking, those cases have fewer symptoms and recover more quickly, more easily than cases that have not been vaccinated. That is not to say that we haven't had severe illness in some of the breakthrough cases. My mom, I'm sharing, she may not really like me doing this, but my mom was a breakthrough case. So I still believe, especially when she has lung issues, that her case was much lighter than it could have been if she hadn't been fully vaccinated.
So most of the hospitalizations are not breakthrough cases. That's,
Some of them are, but the majority of them are not, correct? Anything else?
Any other questions for Lisa? Let us know what you need financially. We're here for you.
thank you.
So that's an update. Item number 8B is a boy from Lisa Dick. It doesn't require any action. All right, now we're moving into a lot of our public hearing section and all. First, let's go to item number 8D is David. Well, I'm sorry. Let's go back up to item number 8A and knock that out. Consideration, as Commissioner Kelton, consideration and approval of possible action regarding the burn ban. What would y'all like to do?
We'll leave it on. Yeah, I kind of look like a consensus to leave it on.
See it stay in place.
So no actions taken, it remains in place.
All right, so the burn ban remains in place. Item number 8A, no action. You like that as well, Darryl?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Doesn't
so
have a vote.
Well,
he has
I
a
usually
great
consult my
opinion.
I
local,
mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I was asking if there's something we didn't know about, he would tell us. Item number 8D is in David, is Jennifer Robinson, our county auditor, consideration and possible approval of action regarding capital lease modifications.
Okay, this is about the capital lease, for our radio equipment.
Y'all hear her okay?
No, but okay.
You want to take it off? So since part of our ARP funds were able to be used to pay for the radio equipment, we are requesting to modify our capital lease from $2,074,158 down to $1,037,079, and I just need y'all's approval to do that.
If we can turn the AC off, we can hear her better.
Is that gonna, we've already made that? No, so what, that change
It's
the balance
just-
or not?
It's just modifying the total amount due. It was set up and made, but the first payment won't be made till October 1st, and so it's just lowering this.
I make a motion, we approve that change to the capital lease.
second.
Here we have a motion and a second to modify the capital lease. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is approved. Item number 8E is in Edward. It is also the county auditor, consideration of possible approval of action regarding county loans.
Okay, this is a request of approval to refinance 2 existing loans with Texas Bank and 1 with Citizens National Bank pursuant to section 271.005 of the Texas Local Government Code, that the obligations be payable from the ad valorem taxes budgeted for payment for the obligations or any lawfully available funds from the Brown County General Fund, Precinct 3 Fund, and Precinct 4 Fund to pay the obligations in full at the end of the fiscal year as follows. Note number 5570, General Fund, $76,105.05. Note number 49032, Precinct 3, $218,870.43. And note number 57351, Precinct 4, $9,975.27. And this is just what we have to do at the end of every fiscal year to show that, pay these loans off and that we can
We have to declare putting up taxes for those loans. And we used to do it once per loan, but the legislature's changed that. Now we have to do it every year. And she said, one loan is through the general fund, one loan is to precinct 3, and one is to precinct 4. So we just have to put it in the minutes and give it to the banks that are involved, cover them. I move we modify the 3 county loans that are with Texas and Citizens.
Yes, sir.
The Texas Bank and Citizens National Bank.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor? Carries unanimously. Item number 8, F as in Frank, is also the county auditor requesting a public hearing on the proposed budget. So do I need to open the public hearing at this time, which I will, on the proposed budget? So the public hearing is open. Does anyone in the audience have any comments, or would you like to speak to the proposed budget? Any commissioners have anything to say? Okay, then I will.
Yeah, I would like to say something that this year we lowered our proposed tax rate from 0.5776 to 0.5542. So we've gone down on the tax rate this year for whatever people need to know about it.
They do. And yes, and of course, please know in the audience on television, we have no control over your appraisal rate of your property, which is what everybody's usually upset about. Well, this court has no control or influence over that whatsoever. But the county property tax rate, just as the commissioner said, we were fortunate was to be able to go down a little bit, and that is still maintaining a balanced budget and everything that we're required to do by law. So I applaud our finance team. They'll do an awesome job. All right, if there are no other comments, then I'm going to close the public hearing. So I'll move on to item number 8, G as in George. Since F takes no action, item number 8, G as in George, is also the county auditor. Consideration of possible approval of action regarding adopting the proposed budget for 21-22.
Not yet, that's
Well, since we've labored long and hard over this budget, I think everybody's looked at it, and it's been posted several places. I move we approve the budget for year 21-22.
Here we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? I would just like to reiterate that the budget is balanced without a tax increase, and as Commissioner Worley indicated, it actually declined a little bit. So with that, if there's no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Okay, the budget is approved unanimously. Item number 8, H as in Henry, is also the county auditor, and it is a public hearing on the proposed tax rate. So I will declare a public hearing open on the 2021-22 proposed tax rate. Does anyone in the audience have anything that they would like to say? Jennifer, would you like to say anything on this, or is it self-explanatory? Commissioners, do you have anything? All right, then one more time, anyone have anything to say or any comments? Okay, then I'll close the public hearing on the proposed tax rate. It doesn't take any action, but we move on item number 8. H is in Henry, but item number HI is in Ida, is the county auditor. Also, consideration and possible approval of action regarding adopting the proposed tax rate for 2021-22.
Okay, I want to point out that there is specific wording required to use for this tax rate. Although our tax rate is lower based on, I did ask, I promise, I did ask. But the required wording, since our tax rate that we're adopting is actually more than the no new revenue rate, the wording is going to say it's a higher tax rate, but it's not a higher tax rate. It's just required wording from the SB2 changes. So I just want to put that out there before it's read into the record.
Do we need to read that wording aloud?
Yes.
Persons proposed. Total rate. That's-
The total rate is the first one, yes, sir.
And we go down to the,
And then we do each individual separate.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.5542, which is effectively a 4.8% increase in the tax rate. And 0.5542 is the total tax rate.
Even though it's not a change in the tax rate, they make you say it's a change in the tax rate, but it does, when add a new property, it does increase the revenue, but it's actually a lower rate, but that's not the wording they let us use. So,
Right, because they're
We
not
don't have the
comparing.
infinite wisdom
Yeah,
of the Texas legislature.
I understand that.
And all those 135 representatives and 31 senators.
They're making us, that statement is based on the fact that although our rate that we're proposing is less than last year's rate, it's still more than the no new revenue rate. And that's why
Is there
that
anything
statement's
else
required.
you need to read?
No, that's-
That's just one out of
That's
I.
So, do you make that in a motion to approve?
Yeah,
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Just to reiterate again, even though the legislature makes us say it's an increase, it's not. And I want to say that how we're able to do this is the increased revenues that new businesses, new buildings and all that we've had come into the county. That is our saving grace. I understand there's over 60 houses throughout the county under construction at the moment. And so we're doing quite well. I know that's driving the cost of property up, but that's a different kettle of fish, but it works. But so we have a motion, a second, any further discussion? I think everybody's clear on why we have the wording. So all in favor, call for a vote. It passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 8, J is in John, is also the county auditor consideration approval of action regarding adopting the maintenance and operations rate.
You don't have to read that. Just make a motion.
all right, the maintenance and operations proposed rate is 0.4491 per $100 valuation. And I move we adopt that proposed rate of 0.4491 for maintenance and operations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Maintenance and operations, all in favor? Carries unanimously. Item number 8K is in King, is also Jennifer Robinson, the county auditor, consideration of possible approval of action regarding adopting the debt service rate. And again, this is for the 21-22 fiscal year.
All right, the proposed debt service rate is 0.0182 per $100 valuation. And so I move we adopt the proposed rate for debt service being 0.0182.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Gary didn't vote yet, but for the record, all right, so it's unanimous.
It does have to be a record vote too. Sorry, Sharon. I didn't tell you that. All right, next is the road and flood.
Okay, well, let me read it. Jennifer Robinson, again, item number 8, L is in Lincoln. Consideration of possible approval of action regarding adopting the road and flood rate. Commissioner Wood?
And the proposed road and flood rate is 0.0869. I move we adopt the proposed rate of 0.0869 for the flooding bridge fund.
We have a motion and a second, and again, this is for the 21-22 fiscal year. It's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimously. So we'll go back up to item number 7, which is consideration of possible approval of payment in the bills as needed.
Pass the resolution.
So,
We got to pass the resolution. I think we have to do it. It's still in there. It's not a listed item.
What's it, which side, what are y'all reading?
Shane, there's a resolution that we have to pass, dealing with all the tax fund, the general fund, debt service, road and flood. And then can we pass that resolution in with all these agenda items? Or does it need to have to be a separate agenda item?
Haven't you already approved all of those things?
We've approved all of them, but we've got a
Wouldn't that
resolution.
come under item I? I mean,
Yeah, we've approved them all,
Yeah, I mean,
but
can I
there's
go
a
back?
resolution that we have to pass.
go back to item I and add it to that.
Okay, so let's, we're, 7's on the table, so let's get that done. We'll go back and add the resolution. All right. Do I have a motion for bills?
Yes, I make a motion to pay the bills as presented by the county auditor.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills. Any further discussion? All right, the signature form is coming around. All in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. We'll go back to item number 8I as an Ida. We're going to reopen item number 8I as an Ida. Jennifer Robinson, our county auditor. Consideration and possible approval of action regarding adopting the proposed tax rate. The tax rate's already been approved unanimously and adopted, but we're going to add a resolution onto this item, so if you'd like to read it, sir.
Sorry. The resolution states, whereas Brown County Commissioners Court met in a regular meeting of the Commissioners Court open to the public on September 13, 2021, to adopt the tax rate for the fiscal year 2021-2022 and approve the following statements. Brown County property taxes will be increased by the adoption of a total tax rate of 0.5542. General fund, 0.4491. Debt service rate, 0.0182. Road and flood rate, 0.0869, for a total rate of 0.5542. I move we approve this resolution.
Second.
We have motion and second to approve the resolution. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carries unanimously. So item I as an item was amended with the resolution. Item number 9 is our last item, is commissioner's comments. I don't have anything. Does anyone have anything?
My only comment is that just keep, every year they change wording and the rule, we gotta go through this process, or not every year, but they change it. So there's always a new hoop you gotta jump through every year in order to do this to satisfy the newest and latest, greatest rules they bring out for us there.
I'm with you, Joe.
So it's the same thing, only different.
Is our emergency management need, I see we have a couple of tropical storms. Anything we need to be concerned with?
No, sir, it seems to all be headed towards the southwest coast.
I keep getting the alerts and we're way up here. And I guess they send them out statewide.
Well, I was looking at the radar and it's a little bit, some of the outer bands are as far as Austin, it looks like. And it's not in on, is it on shore yet? Or it's real close to being on shore, or is it on shore?
Yeah, my mom and wife, we all back to see, we watched Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
And my dad got mad when they started gearing up for a hurricane in Dallas.
Well, yeah, that's unusual. We have had some tremendous rain before as a result of hurricanes in the past. I remember when I was a young fella.
110 mile an hour
Lake River dried up.
hurricane.
I remember they said it's gonna take 7 years above average rainfall to ever fill the lake again, and it filled it up in 2 days. So, because of some hurricane, I forget what it was, back in the late 70s.
I had to ride out Ida back in 2008. That was scary. All right, so do we need to meet on the 20th?
20th.
20th is a scheduled meeting.
Yeah, what you did.
Oh,
I
oh,
don't think it's scheduled. That's the third Monday.
may I also say that Net Data will be here starting Wednesday to meet with individuals on lunches. And we haven't really got a plan yet of who's gonna be with first. I'll talk to, let's see, to several of them. We'll see if we can start putting a plan together.
So, Tiana, you said it is or it isn't?
The 20th is the third Monday, so that's not the regular Monday.
20th is
It's the third Monday.
First and third.
third. You're right. I stand corrected.
So sorry.
So you're wrong?
Do we have anything we need to meet on Monday, or can I give y'all the Monday off?
I don't know.
Do you need me on? We probably need to pay bills.
Need to pay bills.
The bills can't wait till the 27th?
Then they have to run them.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I was just trying to give you guys a week off, so. All right, so we'll meet back on the 20th, even though we'll probably only be here for a very short period of time. But with that, I'll declare us adjourned.
And now the other end on that. Probably.
What year was it? 79?
And it's-
77?